Good day, my beautiful people, and welcome back to Not London Narratives. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about Thomas Frank as he is now seemingly the Tottenham Hotspur manager. And I spent hours of my day yesterday. And when I say hours, I mean like even till today, I think I slept by like 3 to 4 a.m. here. And I spent hours of my day researching on Thomas Frank, watching interviews, listening to tactical videos. And all I'm going to say is that it makes sense. Now, the thing I said when Chelsea hired Maresca was that an Unai Emery to Villa and some of this, and it's slot to Liverpool. I said that it wasn't necessarily about the manager. I think more importantly, it was about the fit of the manager to the club, to the players. And Thomas Frank to Tottenham Hotspur fits. Like I get some people might say, oh, it's not a sexy name like Xavi Alonso, and all the Spanish stuff and all that jazz. It's Thomas Frank, but it fits, and I'm going to explain why I personally think that this signing is really going to stabilize us and potentially, and I genuinely mean this, take us to the next level. I'm going to explain why, and I genuinely hope in my heart that you people see what I see because I'm honestly hurt from the Ant sacking. I won't lie. Like I said, and I've been consistent. I wanted him out for majority of last season, but after winning us the trophy, come on, man, come on. First trophy in 17 years, third European trophy in 41 years. Come on. He deserved at least the first 10 games to show that he could right his wrongs. And winning a European trophy when Jose Conte, when we're in the Conference League, when other managers couldn't do it, going out to the likes of Norwich. And he won a trophy, and that shows that he has something about him. So I just think that he should have been given a chance. But like I said in my previous video, we can't cry over spilled milk. So what's done is done, and we have to move on from it. Eh? So yeah, let's move on from it. So now we're here with Thomas Frank. So now I think in one of his interviews he spoke about how he always tries to win every match. He goes into every match thinking of how to win. He never goes into a match thinking of how to draw. And there's also this interview with Mbuemo and Wissa on the Obi-Wan podcast. You guys should watch it. It's very insightful into Thomas Frank and also into Mbuemo, who looks like there could be a chance of him coming to Tottenham Hotspur as well. So it's really insightful. They're really good people, like amazing people. If you watch that interview, you'll fall in love with them. But anyways, like no homo by the way. But yeah, like he speaks about how he's always trying to win every match, and I think he explained like I feel like because he's trying to win every match and he's trying to gain every advantage, which is why he adapts his style. So for instance, now if you're not aware, Brentford were quite possession heavy in the championship, but then when they came into the Premier League, they realized that the level, he said it, that the level from the championship to the Premier League is really high. So you can't play how you were playing in the championship in the Premier League. You have to adapt. Like you can't be a Vincent Company. You can't do that. That's madness. And he had to be smart. He's a smart man. So he came and he started playing pragmatically. And now a lot of people say, oh, but Brentford play pragmatic football. But it's due to the players they have, due to the circumstance, due to him always wanting to win every match. And it doesn't really matter how he gets it done. He just wants to win. And he spoke about how he can be a very positive person. And I think he gave the example of the Liverpool game where he goes into every game wanting to win, believing they can win. And even though like the chances of them winning is marginal, like in reality, but then he goes into every game wanting to win. And then when they don't win, because he's such a positive person, it really takes a toll on him because he believed that they could win. And then seeing that you don't win, it takes a toll on him. And it says a lot about this Jesus, pardon me, this man's mindset. And like to those of you saying, oh, he hasn't won before, I think that alone should show you that I understand that in the environment that Brentford is in, he might not be able to do much. But when you put him in a different point, when this man is doing finishing, I think, ninth with the second lowest wage bill in the Premier League, you should know that there's something about this man. I'm like I said, it's up here. It's up here. And he also spoke about culture and all that. But let me not even talk about all that. Let me talk about the talking points I have here. So I will not make this longer than it should be, but because it's going to be a really long one. The next thing I think makes Thomas Frank a very good fit is development of players. So I don't know if you guys were aware, but Damsgaard was here last season. And I had known Damsgaard, I think, from Denmark when he was banging in free kicks and everybody was talking about him. And I started keeping an eye on him, watching some videos. And then when I saw he came to the Premier League, I was like, oh my God, this is exciting. But then I started to watch Brentford for a couple of weeks and Damsgaard is not playing. I think he played like 7 games last season. And then he comes this season and everybody's talking, oh, Miko Damsgaard, Miko Damsgaard. But he has always been a good player. Obviously, he has taken his game to another level. And maybe he had 1 year of adapting, but he has taken his game to another level. And it's not just players like Damsgaard, it's players like Ivan Toney who he turned to one of the best strikers in the Premier League. And arguably in the world at the time, doing what he was doing for Bradford, what he did with Ben Rama, what he did with Watkins, what he did with Mbeumo, Wissa, Raya. Like these players have grown so much. Luis Potter, we see him developing. I watched him against Spurs earlier this season. And these players are growing. Even though they always seem to lose against us on that end, these players are growing and he has a knack for developing players. He has a knack for getting the best out of players. I think there was a player that they signed for 3.5 million or something. Like he's squeezing every ounce that you can get from these players. And that's what we need because our board isn't going to sign a Sani. They won't go and sign a Yamal Musiala. They won't do that. So you have to sort of work with what you have. And is this sad? Yes, but it's the reality of things. And if you're going to be a realist and focus on what's in front of you, then you have to find the best fit for what's in front of you. You can't have millionaire money and be looking for a billionaire girl. It's not realistic. She's not going to come to you. So you have to admit that or accept that you're a millionaire and the best you can bag is a millionaire girl and go for the millionaire girl who is going to fit you perfect, if that makes sense, or not leave you for somebody else. So you have to work with what you have and make the best out of what you have. I think that's another important thing about Thomas Frank is his record against the Big Six. I remember a lot of times when people were talking about his record against the Big Six, but not just his record against the Big Six, his record against Chelsea. Now, Chelsea is a team that have, over the years, always found a way to beat Tottenham. But every time we always seem to lose against Chelsea. But Thomas has a knack for being what people say a pain in the ass for Chelsea. And his record against the Big Six is incredible. Like, it's really incredible, especially considering all the factors I've said. Like, we've seen teams come from the championship and go straight down. These guys have finished ninth twice, I think 13th and 16th in one season. I think that was the season that they lost Tony. That's incredible. And if you don't think that is incredible, come on, be real. Like, be real. So I think that even like we've seen ourselves in games like Arsenal now, or in recent years, I think last time we beat Arsenal was under Conte. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, we lose to these guys. And with a manager that understands that in these games, you have to run. You're not going to be with the ball. These teams are better than you and knows how to play against these teams is really going to be important for us. It's really going to be important for us. And for those saying, oh, yeah, but in Brentford, majority of the teams who want to come out and you mostly you most of the time play on the transition. But then, excuse me, but then at the championship, he played possession football, so he also knows how to break down teams. Like, do you get what I'm saying? And like I said, the only reason why he adapted, and he said it, you can't play how we couldn't come to the Premier League and play how we're playing in the Championship. We're going to get rinsed apart. So they had to find a different way, and which is what a lot of people were praising Ange for in the Europa League, finding a different way to win, finding different ways. And this is a man that has it in abundance. He has it. He like you don't know how Brentford are going to play. You don't because they have principles, but then they make tweaks in these principles. Um, so yeah. Also, another important thing, and this is why I think that our attackers are going to flourish. So there's this thing where Brentford takes shots from a particular area. And the reason why is because they want to take high value XG shots. Now, what are those? Basically, there's XG, expected goals. So basically, shots that have a higher probability of entry. So, for instance, now if I'm shooting from outside the box, it has a lower probability of it going in than if I'm shooting from inside the box. So, majority of their shots are from inside the box. And this shows you like this man's attention to detail. They try to squeeze out things from anything. I don't know if you guys, even like when they first came to the Premier League, when they were doing the whole throwing thing, the whole set pieces, they are good at set pieces, penalties, Mbeumo, 100% record from the spot, Ivan Toney, the same thing. Like they try to get advantages. Now imagine what this man does with better players. Like I can't, I'm getting really excited at the prospect of this because it fits, like it makes sense, which is why I really do want us as a fan base to back this manager because at the end of the day, he's going to be our manager. So we have to get behind him. He's going to be our gaffer. And I think that the first thing Thomas has to do is to get the players on side. And I think he has the personality to do that. And to a lot of people that are saying, oh, Thomas Frank is a nice guy, he is not. He's nice, but he said something in one of his interviews. He said, I treat my players like I treat my kids. Like there has to be love, but there also has to be discipline. If you're unwilling to work, then you're not going to play. If you're unwilling to work hard for the team, if you're going to be what he calls dickheads, then you're not going to play for the team. You're not going to play for us. If you're not willing to give your 100% and be humble, you're not going to play for us. And I feel like that discipline, like having love, but also having discipline, is very key for us as a team. And I feel like that is going to really be important in handling these players. Because I think that I get it, Brennan Johnson scores goals. But players like Brennan, who don't exactly like the defensive work, you're going to have to do it now. There's no excuse. There's no hiding. Everybody has to work for this team. And everybody has to give their all for the Tottenham project. Hello, my club. So yeah, um, so high value XG. Now, sorry, I went on the tangent. The high value XG thing. So because of that, I had a problem with Son on that end because I felt like Son was being told to do things that he could no longer physically do. Son is a player that likes to score goals, and where he's most dangerous is inside the 18-yard box. Brennan Johnson is a player that we have seen can get goals. Sholanke is an absolute beast in the box. If you look at a lot of his goals, they've been inside the box. Like if you think back to Bodo Glimt, off the top of my head, inside the box. If you think back to um there was this game where he chipped the keeper inside the box. Majority of his goals for us have been inside the box. And like this high value XG thing is really going to benefit our attackers because these are players that can score goals. We saw that scoring goals, even though our attack wasn't the best, scoring goals wasn't exactly our biggest problem on that end. So we can score goals. And players like Son would flourish more under this manager where they're having high value XG shots. So yeah, um, can he handle the pressure? Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're coming from Brentford, you've been there for 7 years, and this and that. Can he handle the step up?" I think we've seen managers like Graham Potter struggle coming from Brighton to Chelsea. But I think that, excuse me, I think that coming from Brentford to Tottenham is not as big a step as going from Brighton to Chelsea. I think Tottenham, because of Levy, and I don't understand it's because of Levy, but this is the reality of things because of Levy, we're not on Chelsea, but we're not at Brentford. We're just that level below. We're just that level below Chelsea and likes of United. We're just that level below. And I feel like even aside from it not being that huge a step, unlike Graham Potter's, the media love Thomas Frank. And I don't know what it is, but they absolutely love this man. And because they love him, he will get time. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like the media, because I studied mass from in school, so I understand the power of the media and the ability of the media to shape people's minds. And because they love Thomas Frank, they would want to give him time and they would use the power of the media to influence people to be patient with him, to give him time if things are not going well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think that aside from that, I think that he also will get time and is not that big a step. Now, back on his ability to develop players, we also like what makes me even more excited about this is that I think because Ange knew he was going to get sacked, he said, "Okay, Mikey Moore, I'm no longer going to play you because I just want to get results and this and that." But this is a manager who wanted likes of Brennan Johnson, who wanted likes of Archie Gray. And with talents like Jamie Donnelly, with talents like um, Mikey Moore, and all these players, Ashley Phillips, I think that these guys are really going to get a chance under this manager. And there's been some talk about us getting a new creative midfielder, but we have done like we need a manager who is going to develop these players, who is going to make these players. I don't want to say the next Harry Kane, but the next Jamie Donnelly, the next Mikey Moore. Like make them their own players and make them more confident in their own selves and their abilities as players because these players have it. They just have to believe that they have it. Which is why sometimes managers bring in players like young players against tired legs. So if you're playing against tired legs, naturally you play better and then you gain confidence and you believe in your ability and then you're not scared anymore. And then like that, you see the players getting more confident and playing more confidently. It's the same thing as players who come to a new club where they're first mellow and they're shy and they don't want to upset anybody. And then as they grow in confidence, you start to see their performances improve. I think that this is a manager who is really going to develop our players. So yeah, one important thing though, I think that he needs his backroom staff. And I feel like this is very important for Thomas Frank because in one of like if you watch on Sky Sports a day in the life of the Brentford manager or something like that, you see them analyzing a game against Liverpool and believe me, these guys are very important to what this manager wants to do. And we saw managers like Nuno not being allowed to bring in his staff, and we saw how that ended. And if you know that this is the guy, and I like I said, I think he's a very good fit. I keep on using that word fit. Fit is a very good fit. And I think that because of the fit, if you know that this is what you want to do, then I think you should go all in on it. I don't think you should hang him out to dry, basically. And I think we should go all in on it because I think this is a very good fit. And I think that it's mandatory that he brings in his staff for him to settle in as much as possible. Because, like I said in my previous video, actions have consequences. And the action of Daniel Levy and the board sacking Ange has caused a lot of unrest in the fan base, in the playing squad, probably at the club. And Thomas Frank would need as much help as he can get and as much familiar faces, as much people he can trust to help him fix that. Because he said something in one of his interviews where he said he has a knack for having the right people around him. And I feel like that is going to be very important if we truly want this manager to succeed. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Thomas Frank is a mid-table manager and this and that. But I genuinely believe that because of the fit and how much it makes sense to me, and I feel like a lot of people will start to see when we start listening to his press conferences and we start watching like possibly maybe in preseason. I think that because of the fit and because of his personality, because of his attention to detail, I think that a lot of people are going to buy in quickly. And I think that we will be way better than a lot of people think. And I don't know what it is, but I don't want to get so excited. But at the same time, I feel very optimistic about Thomas Frank being our new manager. I don't know what it is, but just especially that whole high value XG thing. Uh, the Prem is not ready, and I feel very optimistic. I don't know what it is, but I feel very optimistic, and I feel good about this. So yeah, you guys, let me know what you think about everything I've said. Let me know if you think I'm waffling, if you think I'm saying rubbish, if you think I'm making sense. Let me know how you guys feel about the Thomas Frank appointment and everything. Let's have a chat in the comment section. If you're new here, please leave a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on Not London Narrative. Come on, you Spurs! Come on, guys.